G'day, Hammerheads. Today, very special episode for you. We've got the Bumblebee versus the Killer Bee going head to head. It's going to be 12 volts versus 18 volts. And look, I know what you're thinking. Oi, dickhead, Bumblebees are actually bigger than Killer Bees. So why is this one the Bumblebee? Well, look, guys. Look, this is obviously not named after the bee, but the Transformer, the small guy. So let's get stuck in. Now I'm calling this video a 12 volt versus 18 volt because here in Australia these guys are actually called 18 volt, not 20 volt max. I guess for marketing reasons 20 volts sounds better, so they run with that in the States. I don't know. It's the exact same stuff either way. So the Killer Bee, the DCH 172, is a little bit of a favorite on this channel. We've seen this guy plenty and she has been very impressive. And now we're going to take a good look at the 12 volt version, the DCH 072. So let's just compare these two. You can see that the 12 volt is a little bit smaller. Most of that is actually due to the battery. It doesn't have the nice sparkly silver on top that a lot of the XR brushless tools have. Also on the 12 volt we've got this kind of switch versus that switch there. And I've got to say I really prefer this one because you can just whack that with whichever hand mid-drill. Really convenient. This one, yeah, not quite as good. So the 12 volt also lacks the vibration control. There's no baffle like on the 18. She does have the direction switch that I prefer though. A little bit easier to get that one than that one. So that's plus for the little guy. Big difference there. The 18 volt has this beautiful wobbly vibration and dampening handle. This guy, just a plain plastic one. Bit disappointing because, you know, this guy costs like the same. Bit of a shame there. They both have the excellent steel depth rod with a really nice retaining system. So the batteries, unlike most 12 volt ranges, they are actually 5 amp hours, which is great. And they've managed to get the indicator on the front of the battery because the release is just a little hinge, unlike the slidey version here. So that means when she's in this particular tool, you can't actually check the battery on the big one, but with the small one, you can. And that is about it. Let's take a look at their specs. So DCH 072 is 12 volt, DCH 172 is 18. The price in dollary dues is $239 versus $249. Bit of a shame because honestly, like, the 18 volt has a couple of extra features that I would really pay 10 bucks for. The weight is 1.7 kilos versus about 1.8 kilos. Capacity, so they say 14 mil versus 16 millimeters. Impact energy 1.1 joules versus 1.4. Impacts per minute 4,280 versus 4,800. And that's going to make the impact power 4,708 versus 6,720. So the 12 volt, not only is it about 30% lower voltage, it's got about 30% less impact power too. So theoretically, she'll drill about 30% slower. And the revolutions per minute is 910 versus 1060. All right, and let's check those revs. Look at, oh, blow me down, 910 RPM, just like they say. And for the 18 volt, I don't believe it, 1060, again, just like they say. What is with it? What is with DeWalt and actually advertising their specs correctly? All right, guys, so let's get drilling. As usual for the very small rotary hammers, the first test I do is 8 by 80 millimeters, drilling into 32 MPa concrete. Let's see how they go. Alrighty, so Team Yellow doing very well here. We've got DCH 172 So the 18 volt DeWalt is near the head of the pack with 7.98 seconds averaged. And yeah, we expect her to be a bit behind the Hilti, this big Hilti, but you know, she's a much bigger drill, so no surprises there. But really just neck and neck with the 16mm rated Hilti. Just a few hundredths of a second between those two. Amazing. And the 12 volt DeWalt, very respectable, 10.84 seconds there. So actually just ahead of the 18 volt Milwaukee. So the Killer Bee did actually drill about 26% faster than the Bumblebee. So the next test is my personal favorite. It is 12 by 80mm drilling into the same concrete. Now this is a test that every single one of my rotary hammers gets, so it's a really nice comparison of their performance. Let's see how these guys go. Alright, so the 12 volt DeWalt came in at 18.1 seconds and about 27% faster. We had the 18 volt DeWalt 13.1 seconds. Very respectable times there. So next test is the max capacity. So same depth, same concrete, but this time we're changing the bits to be whatever the manufacturer reckons they can drill up to. So Killer Bee is getting 16 mil, Bumblebee is getting 14 mil. Let's see how they go. Alright, so the max capacity, look at this right down here at the front. We got 26.05 average for the 18 volt DeWalt, and we got 26.51 seconds for the 12 volt DeWalt. So this is just really amazing to me. So guys, I really love this result because these are more or less the same. I mean, that's, you know, less than half a second over 26 seconds. So pretty much the same, but this guy is actually drilling a bigger hole, but he also hits harder. So, results like this just bring a tear to the eye. The surface area that it's drilling through at 16mm is actually about 30% bigger than the surface area of a 14mm hole. So yeah, bigger hole, more powerful tool, drilling the same as a less powerful tool at a smaller hole. Beautiful. You love to see it. Last test is a bit of a bonus, so this is following on from the 12 volt showdown video I did a while ago. We got a 10 by 200mm, bit of an endurance test. So this is 55 MPa concrete, same as what the 12 volt guys did in their video, but now we're throwing in the 18 volt tool too. Alright, so for the long drill we got 48.08 seconds, averaging up a few runs for the Killer Bee there, and 55.69 for the Bumblebee. Very nicely done, guys. DeWalt's are ahead of the pack, and yeah, Milwaukee, not the most powerful in this category anyway. We're still waiting on the 18 volt Makita though, so stay tuned for that one. Alright, so there you go, hammerheads, or should I say beekeepers. Very nice offerings from DeWalt. I've been, you know, very impressed with DeWalt. Honestly, guys, I had never touched a DeWalt tool before I started doing this testing about 2 years ago now. And you know what? They've just really surprised me. They do have a couple of funny things. I'm not really sure why they do, but, you know, in general, they make really well-performing tools, and when it comes to the rotary hammers, they really do rate them pretty well too, honestly. I'm very impressed with how consistently these guys are performing, given this one is, you know, 30% more powerful, drills about 30% faster. So DeWalt basically seems to be coming later to the tiny rotary hammer game, but that means that they've actually had a bit of time to do a bit more development. They've seen what the competition is offering and they've improved on it. and they basically come out with, you know, more or less the best in class for both of these little guys. But hey, that seems to be what they're doing. They also do innovate as well, but you know, when they come out with the tool a little bit later, they tend to just kill it. You know, just like they did with the little cutoff tool here. You know, DeWalt came a bit late to the party here, but they made the absolute best one, hands down. So if that's what they're doing with a lot of their tools, you know, all power to them. Go for it. If you're on Team Yellow, I can highly recommend both of these tools, depending on which one suits your requirements. Or otherwise, if you want to become a beekeeper yourself, get into it. Highly recommended these little guys.